Greetings from the Washington, D.C. office of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. We wanted to come in and do a quick recap of 2013 and give a projection of what we expect 2014 to look like here for the cattle industry and specifically our actions here at the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. 2013 has been a heck of a year for us. We've had a lot of great wins. You know, one of our top policy priorities this year was reauthorization of the Animal Drug User Fee Act, ADUFA. You know, we had some concerns going into the year that was going to be a big fight, especially on any attempt to try to restrict our use of antibiotics or other veterinary drugs. But thanks to our proactive approach, getting the word out on exactly how we use these products, how these products are tested, how they're approved, we were able to get ADUFA reauthorized and keep all the restrictions off of that bill. A great victory for us, and one that I think is really a testament to the relationships that we continue to have here in Washington, D.C., and is a big testament to the success of the Beef 101 programs that we've been utilizing here over the past several years. We also had a great victory in working with members of Congress to ensure that meat inspectors were not furloughed back last spring. We also were able to keep the HSUS United Egg Producers Agreement off of the farm bills, handing a big blow to the Humane Society of the United States, which shows that we can defeat them. Even though they are a huge enemy to us, we still have the grassroots power, and we also have the power here in Washington, D.C. to fight them toe-to-toe and ultimately prevail. And the fact that we were able to do that on this by keeping these amendments off the Farm Bill, we think is another great victory for us here in D.C. And of course, we've just had another great year in terms of trade. When you look at where we stand with international trade, we have Japan that's already had about $1.5 billion worth of value to our industry this year. That's not counting what we saw in late November and here in December, which we'll get numbers on shortly. We have Canada that is approaching $1.5 billion. Mexico, another great strong year. So we continue to see robust sales internationally, and that just helps us continue to maximize the value of the carcass. And is another reason why we need to continue to push for passage of the Trans-Pacific Partnership to make sure that we continue to open up new markets, but also make sure that we have full access and expanded access into markets that we already have. And Japan is a great example of where we hope that the Trans-Pacific Partnership will grant us some additional access. And then of course there's China. And as we go into 2014, I think China is going to be one of our top targets to make sure that we get back in there. Of course, they have been close to us now for 10 years, and that's all because of the outdated BSE concerns that they have. But we did get some news that Senator Max Baucus from Montana is going to be named the new ambassador to China. And Senator Baucus has been a huge proponent of reestablishing trade, especially within the Asian Pacific countries. He's a huge proponent of beef trade, and so we think that his appointment to that position will help us put this issue top of mind with the Chinese government. Unfortunately, here it is, the end of 2013, beginning of 2014, and we still don't have a farm bill. The farm bill is one that we are now entering our 4th year and working on. The farm bill that's out there right now is getting close to being done, but there are still 3 big issues that have not been addressed. We still need to fix country of origin labeling, because we know that if it is not fixed in this farm bill, that Canada and Mexico will retaliate against us. And that retaliation, due to the WTO process, could take place late summer, early fall of 2014. That is going to have a very negative impact on our industry. We also are looking for our final GIPSA fix to, after all these years, take that off the table, and then also make sure that we pass the King Amendment that ensures the Interstate Commerce Clause of the Constitution is recognized and fully enforced by all these states to prevent, like in the case of California with Proposition 2, from basically putting their production practices as a mandate on other states that want to send products to places like California. So those are the things that we're going to be looking at as we try to finish up this farm bill and hopefully get it passed in early 2014. Now, as we look at 2014, this is a major midterm election year. So we're already looking at November 4th. That's Election Day in 2014. We have all 435 members of the House of Representatives up for re-election, and then 1/3 of the Senate. Now, control of both of those houses of Congress is going to determine just how successful President Obama is in his last 2 years of his term. That is going to have a huge impact on a lot of the regulatory rules and issues that we may see put out by all these agencies such as EPA. And one of the things that we expect here very shortly is EPA's rule on waters of the United States and their effort to try to redefine what is classified as a water of the United States and put under the jurisdiction of not only the EPA, but also the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. They put a connectivity report out that we commented on, and we definitely think that that is the precursor to the rule that basically would allow EPA to go out and grab up all the land in the country by saying that anything that holds water, you have to have a permit for if you want to be able to utilize it. That's going to be a high priority for ours, has been for many years now, will continue to be, because we have to make sure we defeat this. For us, this is a fall on the sword type of issue. We cannot allow this to move forward because it would significantly change the face of agriculture in this country. We would love to see immigration reform, but just given all the problems that we have had with government shutdowns, the budget, and just the passage of this farm bill, we know that even though we'll see a lot of discussion about immigration reform, but just because it's an election year, I doubt that we will see any final action on immigration reform. So unfortunately, I think this will spill over into 2015. Tax reform and the reauthorization of the transportation bill are two that we would like to see worked on in 2014, but I think that Congress is going to run out of time very quickly. So we have to make sure that we are constantly talking about these issues, but I'm afraid that just given the election dynamic, Congress is not going to be very successful here in 2014. We are looking forward to a great convention in Nashville. We've got some great speakers, a great lineup, Opry night, and then of course we have the policy committees that will be meeting to conduct the business of NCBA. And then, as I said, as an election year, we have members of Congress that we need to support. So we encourage you to continue your support of our Political Action Committee, the PAC, to make sure that we have the funds necessary to protect the members of Congress that support us, to get them reelected, and to also find challengers who can come in and beat those members of Congress that are not cattle friendly. As always, if you have any questions, please give us a call here in the DC office, and we look forward to seeing you all in Nashville in February.